All right, I've asked you to do all of questions 1 and 2 because they're the kind of real meat of this chapter. You're given a whole bunch of triangles and they're all kind of different and you're trying to figure out which strategy to use each time. So if we have a look at question 1a, firstly, no, it's not a right angle triangle. So we're on the right hand side of the flowchart. Do we know a side and its opposite angle? There's a side and there's its opposite angle. Yes, we do. So we're going to use sine rule. So we know x over sine 57 equals 23 over sine 43, and we know how to do this. X equals 23 sine 57 over sine 43. That's supposed to be an x. Equals, calculator, 23 sine 57 over sine 43. That gives us 28.3, and they asked us just one decimal place. All right, let's have a look at question B. Well, this is very obviously a right angle triangle, and it also very obviously includes an angle. So we're going to use SOHCAHTOA. So that angle, we've got the opposite, we've got the adjacent, so we're going to use tan 52 equals x over 13.5. So x equals 13.5 tan 52. So x is 17.3. Okay. Question C. Okay, we can see that C is not a right angle. We don't have an angle on its opposite side. The only angle we have here, and we don't know the opposite. So we're going to have to use cosine rule. So we know x squared equals 11 squared plus 13 squared. Take 2 times 11 times 13 times cos 62. So x squared comes out as 11 squared plus 13 squared. Take 2 times 11 times 13 times cos 62. No, I can't put things in my calculator without narrating. 155.73, etc. So x is the square root of that, which gives me 12.5. And yes, that's a 2. All right. Question D, you can very clearly see already that it is a right angle triangle and that it has an angle. So we're going to use SOHCAHTOA. So we've got an angle, we've got the opposite, we've got the hypotenuse. So sine 41 degrees 30 minutes equals 24 over x, which means x is going to end up, we're going to have 24 over, it swaps with the sine. 41 degrees 30 minutes. Chuck that in your calculator. You've done that plenty of times before. Over sine 41 degrees 30 minutes. 36.2 meters. I don't know. E, not a right angle triangle. We don't know an angle and its opposite side. Like we have an angle, but we don't have the opposite length to that. So we're going to use cosine rule. So we've got x squared equals 9.2 squared plus 7.4 squared. Take 2 times 9.2 times 7.4 times cos 98. So we've got x squared comes out as yes, just like you said, 170.99. So x is the square root of that. 13.1. Okay, and finally F. Have a look at F. We do have a side. Oh, yes, we have a side and its opposite. I mean, we have an angle in its opposite side, or we have a side in its opposite angle, because if you have a look at this one, that's opposite the 18. So sine rule. So we've got x over, now the opposite angle to x, we're actually going to have to figure that out. So we're going to do, I'm going to call that theta. Well, they all add up to 180, so we can do 180 minus 54 minus 49 comes out as 77 degrees. So that's 77 degrees. So now we can do x over sine 77 equals 18 over sine 49. So x equals 18 sine 77 over sine 49. So x is 23.2. And that's question 1. Just keep following the flowchart and you'll be fine.